Hey guys, welcome back to Every Healing in the Bible. This is going to be a quick one. We're not just talking about healing in the Bible, like moments and instances where people are supernaturally, dramatically healed by God, just as they are today, but also times when He speaks of healing. And in this case, we're going to be in Deuteronomy chapter 7 and 8, where God and Moses are reaffirming the Ten Commandments, the law, and then Moses is sharing from God the warnings and the promises that come with the law. When there's an agreement between two parties, there are things that sides choose to perform. In this covenant, God had given promises to his people Israel that they were to do, but he also would uphold his end over and over and over. But their covenants, their promises, it's his glory, it's well-being or shalom, it's all kinds of things. But in this, I'm just going to read this one part, and it says this. Deuteronomy 7:13, 14 and 15. He will love you and bless you and multiply you. He will also bless the fruit of your womb or your children, and the fruit of your ground, your grain and your new wine and your oil, the increase of your herd and the young of your flock, and the land which he swore to your forefathers to give you. So that's their food, that's their provision, that's economics of the time. It's their family, their ability to multiply, just be natural. The idea of being blessed, that you would think of any natural person, you say, are you blessed? And they're thinking about their bank account, they're thinking about their health, they're thinking about those things. Those are the things God's talking about here. In verse 14, he says, you will be blessed above all peoples. There'll be no male or female barren among you or among your cattle. That's a promise to not be barren. If you remember the first two healings we talked about, and there will be more, the issue of barrenness was at place, and God, in these, at least in the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, you see God is described as the one who opens or closes the womb. And so obviously opening would be considered healing, closing would not be considered healed. Verse 15, and here he's saying it's for you and for your animals, your cattle, the most important part. The Lord will remove from you all sickness, and he will not put on you any of the harmful diseases of Egypt which you have known, but he will lay them on all who hate you. This is again a reaffirming of the promise given in the law, but also the promise or his word to be their healer given earlier in Exodus after they crossed the Red Sea. He said that he was his healer, and he would not put on them any of the diseases he put on the Egyptians. So he would be to them, he would not just deliver them from Egypt with the negative, he would give them the positive. And he showed them that in Exodus 15 by healing the water that they could not drink because it was bitter. He healed their water. He promised to bless their water and bless their food so they would be well and also heal their diseases. So all manners of health, he's promising to take care of it. He's reaffirming it again in Deuteronomy 7. And in chapter 8, he uses different examples and he goes through the history of Israel with God and why he does this or how he's done it before. And one of the things he reminds them, and this has not been mentioned before, something like this may be mentioned in Psalms. This we're going to talk about when we get to Psalms, because the King James, as it often does, is something different than most English translations. And the King James interpretation is the popular interpretation used in a lot of circles. We'll get into that later. We're not going to talk about that now. It will be, for some, could be a controversial topic in this area. But in chapter 8, God is recounting his, as this one says, his gracious dealings with them, basically the testimony of what he's done for them. Chapter 3, he humbled you, let you be hungry, fed you with manna that you did not know about, and it goes ahead and says that you would understand that man does not live by bread alone, but man lives by everything that proceeds out of the mouth of the Lord. Your clothing did not wear out on you, nor did your foot swell these 40 years. And so he is appealing to the natural protection he gave them, times that he had kept them physically where they were not sick, they did not have issues, but also He proactively kept them from having those issues in any way, up to the point of not even having their feet swell walking through the desert for a long time. And so in this chapter, they're about to leave the wilderness. They're being prepared. They may not know it yet. I need to look at the context a little better for that. But they're being prepared, and God is reaffirming his promise to be their healer, which he has given at least twice, explicitly twice so far in the first 5 books of the Bible, the Torah, the Pentateuch, the books written by Moses, and now he's reaffirming that in Deuteronomy 7, using the example in Deuteronomy 8. Stick around. Every healing in the Bible, some of them will go a lot deeper than this. Some of them there will be more teaching and more expounding, but we're going to hit all of them, so some of them are going to be short. But if you want to understand God's promise of healing, Jesus is healer, but also the way it unfolds and is described in the Bible, not just the way you've heard someone speak about it secondhand or thirdhand or fourthhand, because a lot of healing theology today, and cessationist theology today as well, is based in things people have been taught, and they have not gone deeper to explore themselves in the context of the scripture, which is very different than 90% of what you're taught, even more. So we're going to dive into it. And I've said this before, but one of the reasons why healing has had a shallow theology about it is because many people have approached it by saying God will or won't do this today, and I'm going to explain why. And so the foundation has been an apologetic for or against healing, not simply understanding healing and not simply knowing it. And we've taken the foundation of the apologetic and used that as the way to understand healing. But the problem with that is you're trying to understand healing through the lens of what was an argument for it. Does that make sense? So, but our basis isn't if it is or isn't true, or if you can or can't believe it. The basis is that God does heal. He is the healer. And he does it in amazing, diverse, powerful ways. And we want to meet him in it. The foundation is, what is God doing? How is he doing it? The foundation is, how has he done it in the past? Not just the opinions of how he will or what I think or this person thinks or doesn't, the things we like to emphasize that aren't always the things God emphasizes. So what does God emphasize? We're going to walk through that here. Stick around, subscribe, like, and watch some more. Bless you guys.